You're going to extend the arms forwards, draw in the core, lengthen the spine, really pull in the perineum muscle, and then slowly roll the lower back towards the floor until you're a little way down and you can hold it. And then just pause there. Hold it and breathe. Relax the shoulders. Keep your back nice and long. And then on the next inhale, lift up and release. Just take hold of the legs, have a break. You can wriggle those hips. Notice your lower back. If it's hurting, maybe don't go so far down. Just go to where it's comfortable. So let's do that again. Palms facing each other, draw in the core, lengthen the spine, relax the shoulders, and then slowly roll that spine towards the floor. Maybe a little less or maybe a little more, depending on your ability or your lower back. Inhale those arms a little up. Exhale them down. And then inhale forwards and release. Take a break. Relax those muscles. Okay. Wriggle those hips if you need to, if the lower back is a little tetchy. And remember, do less, okay? Don't hurt. Extend those arms, relax those shoulders, lengthen that spine. Pull in the perineum and the core. That will stabilize the lower back. And then slowly release, either a little less or a little more, depending on where you want to be and how comfortable. Now you're going to extend one leg in a diagonal position. Keep the core engaged and lower it. And then lift the other leg, point and lower, and then in breath all the way back up. Ooh, can you feel it already? All right, here we go. We're going to go down to the floor now. So you can have the choice of holding onto the back of the legs and just doing it easy, or putting the hands down if that's what you want. And then you're just rolling all the way down in a very controlled manner. So don't clunk down, just go down all the way in a very controlled manner. Walk those feet closer to the buttocks. And just pause here for a moment. Take your fingertips and just place them in that little, on either side of the hollow of the back, the small of the back. And I'd like you to just engage the perineum and then push the small of the back down to the floor. And you should feel a gentle pressure on your fingers. And then once you've got that, you can release the hands back down to the floor, arms extended to either side. As you hold that position, you're going to keep the leg in this bent shape, and all you're going to do is slowly lift the knee closer and closer towards the body. Nice and steady and slow, keeping the small of the back in the mat, and then slowly back down with the foot. So the knee stays bent, the leg stays in position. We re-engage the core. If you've lost it, push the small of the back in the mat, and then the other knee starts gradually rising, not very fast. You have to go slower. The slower you go, the more you will feel the abdominal muscles working. Nice and slow, bringing it back down to the mat. And then take a release, let that go. And just do a few rocking motions, pushing smaller back into mat and then releasing. Exhaling, small of back pushes into mat, engaging core, and the inhale releases the abdominal muscles and the hollow comes back into the small of the back. So just do that nice gentle rocking through that lower back area, just releasing any tension that may have accumulated. On the next exhale, push the small of the back into the mat, and we go with the knee once more, nice and steady and slow, keeping the perineum muscle engaged, core engaged, just drawing that knee into the body, and then a nice slow and steady movement back to the start position. Keep that core engaged, and the other knee starts drawing in, steady and slow, into the body. And then returning. Keep the core engaged, keep that perineum muscle engaged. Nice and slow. Beautiful. You're going to cross one ankle above the knee of the other. On an exhale, you're going to push the small of the back of the mat and draw the knees closer to the body. Pause, breathe in, and on the exhale, lower while keeping the small of the back in the mat. I'm going to do that again. Exhale, push the small of the back into the mat and breathe in, and then exhale the knees into the chest. And then breathing in and releasing the foot back to the floor on the out breath. Swapping sides. Cross the other foot above the knee. Breathe in, release the muscles, and exhale, push smaller back into mat. Breathe in, and on the exhale, start moving knees slow and steady in towards the chest. Pause at the top, take a breath in, and on the exhale, slow and steady, lowering while keeping the small of the back in the mat. Pause, breathe in. Exhale, push down the core, smaller back and mat. Inhale, and on the exhale, start drawing knees into the chest. Inhale at the top, and then exhale, keeping core engaged, and foot comes to the floor, releasing those feet to the floor. Take them as wide as your mat, the knees. Let the arms come out to either side in a cactus position. Breathe in, and on the exhale, just let the knees roll over to one side, keeping both shoulders in firm contact with the floor, taking the gaze in the opposite direction to knees. Just taking a few breaths here, stretching out one side of the body and the waist. Inhaling, both knees and head to center. And then exhaling, knees over to the other side. Head in the opposite direction. Again, just relaxing into the position, keeping both shoulders in contact with the ground. Inhale, bring knees and head back to the center. You're going to draw those knees into the chest now, taking hold of each knee, one knee in each hand. Okay, we're going to draw the knees into the chest, and then keeping the big toes touching, take the knees apart. And keep them apart as you extend the arms, and then draw the knees back together. Draw the knees into the chest together. Widen the knees in this position. Extend the arms in the wide knee position, and then draw the knees back together. Now we go the opposite direction. So take the knees apart, keeping the big toes touching. Bend the elbows and draw wide knees towards the chest. And then draw the knees together. Extend the arms with the knees together. Take them wide. Keep them wide as you bend the elbows, drawing them into the chest, and then bring the knees together. Extend those legs up towards the ceiling. Bring the hands down to the floor. Point the toes, flex the toes, and then bend the knees, put the feet on the floor. Lift the buttocks slightly and slide the hands underneath the buttocks. Yeah, so you're lifting the pelvis a little bit off the floor. And then if you need to, you're going to keep one leg on the floor and extend the other leg to the ceiling. All right, now push the small of the back as best you can towards the floor. Engage the core. And then lower the leg slow and steady as far as it can go down to the floor without lifting the small of the back off the mat. And then inhale that leg back up to center. Re-engage the core and the perineum muscle and slow lower down towards the floor. As low as you can go without lifting the small of the back off the mat. And then inhale, slow and steady back up. Bend the knee and bring it to the floor. Or the foot to the floor. So again, pushing small of back towards the mat, extending the other leg up to the ceiling. Keeping that contraction through the core, you're lowering the leg to wherever you can keep that contraction, and then inhaling and lift. Re-engage core and slow lower. And then inhaling that leg back up. Bend the leg, foot to the floor. Releasing those hands out from underneath the body. Inhaling hands, pointing them up to the ceiling, palms facing each other. Relax the shoulders. Breathe in, and on the exhale, push the small of the back into the floor. And on the inhale, you're going to lift the head and the shoulders up towards the ceiling. You're looking up to the ceiling. Pause there. On the next in-breath, see if you could go a little higher. Hold it, breathe, and then lower the body and the head down to the floor. Breathe in, release the muscles. Breathe out, contract the core. And on the in-breath, lift the head, shoulders, arms stretching up to the ceiling. Keep the perineum and core engaged. In-breath, lift a little higher if you can. Hold it, and then exhale. Lower the body down, releasing arms down to the floor. Just take a few breaths here. Okay, so on an in-breath, you're going to lift the right leg to the ceiling and the left arm up to the ceiling. So you've got opposite arm to leg pointing up to the ceiling. Exhale, push the abdominals and the small of the back into the floor. And on the in-breath, you're going to lift the head and the shoulder, and the fingers are rising towards that foot. So you're going to a slight diagonal. Pause there. In-breath, stretch up. Hold it. Core engaged. And exhale. Come with the body down. If you need to lower the leg, do. Otherwise, stay in that position. We're going to do it once more. Breathe in, breathe out. Engage the core. In breath, lift the head and the shoulder, arms stretching towards that leg. Pause there. Next, inhale, stretch a little higher if you can. And inhale, lower leg and arm to the floor. Take a few breaths here. Just releasing any tension through the back and the body, adjusting body. Come back to center. On the next inhale, take the right arm and left leg to point up to the ceiling. On an exhale, engage the core, pushing small of back into mat. In breath, lifts that right shoulder up towards the foot. You keep the core engaged. Next in-breath, stretch higher. And then exhale, lower the shoulder and the head back to the floor. Keep the position. Next, exhale, engage the core. Inhale, stretch up, reaching up towards that opposite foot. And one more stretch. And then lower the arm and the body to the floor. Beautiful.